Alright, welcome to the layout. This is the start of my F40PH project. I'm going to be taking a Walthers Trainline F40PH Amtrak Phase 3 and installing a Loksound Select Direct decoder along with some detail parts. I'm not going to get crazy with it, but just add a little bit of extra detail. So let's get started with that. Guess the first thing we need to do is get it out of the box. Yeah. I hear a train going by my house now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Here we have the Walthers Trainline F40PH. I'm actually pretty impressed with the look of it, the detail of it. It's not super detailed, but not bad for the price, I gotta be honest. And it's very, very heavy. So I'm impressed with that also. I'm gonna pop this plow off the front of it, get that out of the way. There's a little bag of detailed parts. And I have extra detail parts that I will be doing during this project. But the first thing we need to do, in the corner, each one of these corners of the locomotive, there is a screw. So we have 4 screws that we have to remove to take the shell off. So I'm going to get my nice egg crate foam here, thanks to my buddy Brian Volts. If you haven't done so already, check out his YouTube channel. We're just going to remove these screws. Should do it. There, they all fell out. Don't lose any of those. Should just pop off. There we go. Just like that. I'm not exactly sure why this happened. Coupler and coupler pocket come off. Guess that just fits on there. Let's hope that's normal, because this is the first one I ever took apart. And I can see that it is 12-volt bulbs, so I think I will be changing that to LED while I'm in here. Alright, first thing we're going to do is remove this old light board out of here. So we're just going to pull these plastic tabs off, kind of like the Athearn locomotives are. Pull them off, and they're also soldered on there. Alright, I'm just going to take my soldering iron here, heat up the solder, and pull each one of these wires off. Simple as that. I probably don't need to show this part of it, but because it's pretty self-explanatory. But for the sake of this video, we'll do it anyways. Now we'll go ahead and remove this light board because we don't need this anymore. So we'll remove these 4 screws real quick. And we will take this off. There we go. we don't need that anymore. Set that to the side. Now we have our motor wires, our pickup wires, and our light wires, which, like I said, I think I will just be doing a LED conversion while I'm in here. Now's the time to do it. Okay guys, I was fiddling around here and I was able to get this speaker to fit in. In case you wanted to know, this is a 28mm high bass speaker. It's a Loksound speaker. But since this part of the frame is a little bit lower, a little bit cut out, I was able to put the speaker there. What I did, I just stuck it up in here in the shell, pushed it forward, and it fit fairly tight because of the windows. I will cut these tabs off the speaker too. I just wanted to make sure it was going to fit first. Right around there in the shell, if you can see that. There we go. It's in there. Barely, but it is in there. And if that becomes a problem, I can always get another speaker, but that's cool. It fits. Another plus for the project. Alright guys, I'm getting ready to do a little bit of soldering. I'm going to solder up my LEDs and their leads to get ready to put in the locomotive, and also I need to solder some speaker wires on my speaker. Now this speaker wasn't marked with the polarity on it, the positive and negative, so I had to find that out on my own. And I'm going to just tell you quickly how I did it, because it was hard to do just with me doing it, trying to hold everything the way I needed it to, let alone try to videotape it. Basically what you do to find the polarity of the speaker if it's not marked, what I did was I took a regular 9-volt battery and a couple pieces of wire, and ran one wire from the one side of the battery and the other wire from the other side of the battery, and you touch them wires, then you hook them up to your speaker just momentarily. You don't hook them up permanently. You just you tap them on the contacts, and if you watch the speaker, when the speaker pops out, then you have it hooked up the right way. If it sucks in, it's hooked up backwards. So that's a quick and easy way to determine the polarity of your speaker. So I will be soldering wire leads on my speaker, and I will be soldering up some LEDs for my locomotive. Also, you can see here I have my decoder mounted. I used a piece of styrene underneath it because the decoder was narrower than the gap in the frame of the locomotive. So I just tacky glued a piece of styrene on the frame. That way, if I ever have to get down to the motor, I can just pull that off of there. And then I just put a piece of foam double-sided tape then between that and the decoder and mounted a decoder on there. These are my motor leads coming up. I'm reusing all the wiring, as much of the wiring as I can that was already in the locomotive. Unfortunately, Walthers didn't use NMRA colors, which is fine as long as you know where you are putting them. So these are my track leads here and my motor leads here in the center. So I will be soldering all them on there also. And now let's move along. Alright guys, I moved everything upstairs now. I got some better lighting up here. It's too cold downstairs. It's still freezing out here in PA, so it's a lot warmer to work up here in the heat. As you can see, I'm making up my LEDs right now. I made up one. This will be my front headlight. Right now I'm using 3mm LEDs, bright white ones. I don't have any warm white or sunny white. I may change them out for warm light ones. It'll be a more realistic headlight color, but for now this is what I'm using. And I'm using a 560 ohm resistor in line. It doesn't matter which negative or positive you put it on as far as the LED. It doesn't matter which side, but you do need one resistor per LED. I have mine wired up to the common, which is also the positive. Probably won't show up because my camera sucks at close-up videoing, but on an LED, if you don't know, the longer stem is your positive, and you can also tell by looking inside the LED. There'll be a really big metal piece, kind of looks like a flag. That is your negative, and there'll be a smaller piece of metal in there. That's your positive, and the positive goes to the blue or common output of your decoder. So now I'm going to make up my rear headlight, and I probably can't show you, like I said, because this camera sucks at close-up videoing, but there are a lot of videos out there on how to wire up LEDs that I really don't need to repeat it. But I did put a piece of larger heat shrink all the way around the LED. I just have the end of it open. That way it's gonna butt right up into the lens for the headlight in the locomotive, and that'll keep any other stray light from leaking out around it into the cab. Also, I put my wires on my speaker. I soldered them on. So we're getting there, buddy. So let me finish wiring up another or soldering up another LED, and then we'll get back to soldering everything on the decoder board. Alright guys, I have my headlights made, and I have them in the shell. These are my leads. I might have to cut them a little bit shorter, but I want them long enough that if I have to take my shell off, I have room. So I'll probably just leave them that long and tuck them up out of the way. Oops, sorry. But I have my headlight and rear light in, and got my speaker made. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to pre-tin each of the locations on this decoder board where I will be soldering some wires. Basically what I do is I just put a drop of solder on each one, and then that way whenever I go to solder the wire on, all I have to do is basically just touch the wire and the soldering iron to it, and it's, you know, real quick, bam. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see me do this, but basically I just take my soldering iron and my solder, and I will just put a drop of solder on each one of these contact pads, just like that. Now this ain't the best soldering iron, this is just a Harbor Freight special, but it does what I need it to do. I know you probably can't see that, so I will take a picture of it. But basically that's all you have to do. And then whenever you want to solder your connections on, all you have to do then is just, it's real simple. Just lay the wire on there, and touch your soldering iron real quick. And then my big hands are probably in the way. I apologize. I don't know how else to really do this. But you just lay your wire there and just like that. Makes it really quick and easy. If you've seen my other videos, I like quick and easy. We got our motor tabs. And like I said, make sure you're getting the right wire in the right spot on this board. It's easy to get them mixed up when the company uses all the same color wire. There we go. Got the front pickup wire soldered on, the motor lead soldered on. Do the back ones real quick. We got our spots here for the rear light and the headlight. The headlight's up there. We got the spot for the rear light here. And the speaker will go right here, right beside the motor leads. So let's continue right down the line here. Not really left-handed, but it'll be easier if I switch hands to do this. As you can see, I don't have much control with my left hand. Whoops. I see a lot on forums and things like that, people asking, that's never done a decoder install, well, how hard is it? If you can solder, I mean, it's easy. There's no reason to pay someone to do it unless you just don't feel like doing it. But that's all on what you want to do, I guess, if you feel like messing with it or not. But tell you, once you do one, you'll say to yourself, man, this ain't so bad. And soldering ain't that bad either. Not on stuff like this. This board isn't marked for the polarity of the speaker, so I'm hoping it doesn't matter. Guess if it doesn't work, we'll find out. So just that quick, we have our motor leads soldered on, and our track pickup wire soldered on, and our speaker soldered on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the track and test this out. Now, one thing I didn't mention, if you're installing DCC into a non-DCC locomotive, make sure your motor is isolated from the frame. You will short out your decoder, possibly ruining it. So check and make sure your motor is isolated from the frame of the motor. And this one already is, but that's one important thing if you don't want to fry a $100 decoder. Alright guys, here we are in the layout quick. Before we do any more with this project, I want to make sure the decoder is working and the track pickup and the motor is wired correctly, the speaker's on correctly, and everything's working before we button everything up. Alright, here we are, we're on the layout, and let's give this a try. As with every new decoder or new locomotive, the address is set at 3. So let's hit that on 3. As you can see here, I got my power cab. We're on address 3. Let's let's bump this up. Now there's speed step 1. Hear a little humming. The locomotive's moving a little bit, not real smooth. There's speed step 2, speed step 3, we're moving pretty good. That's nice and smooth there. Might have to adjust some of the CVs. Maybe we can get that speed step 1 a little smoother, but That's down the road yet. Obviously everything's working. Let's try reverse. There's speed step 3 in reverse. Slight hum from the motor, not real loud. Well, let's test the sound. Hit function 8, see what that brings up. Well, that's a good sign. We have sound. Try the horn. Bell. I'm not going to go through the full functions right now. This is just a quick test. Make sure everything's wired up right. Test direction. Reverse. Forward. So far so good. I'd say that's a successful test. And of course the speaker will be mounted up in the cab upside down, facing down. Right around in that area. So that's how it is. Let's turn this baby off and finish up the project as far as the decoder install. Okay guys, right now I have the headlight and rear light soldered on the board, and I have the speaker tucked up under here. It fits really snug in between the shell because of the windows. It fits tight in between the windows on the sides. As a side note, I think this is just going to be a temporary thing. I'm going to buy one of the small Zemo square speakers and mount it right here. It'll take up a little less space, and I can permanently attach it to the frame, as compared to this one just kind of being wedged up in there, and I don't think it will come loose, but who knows. So right now that I think I'm just going to have that as a temporary thing. But I'm just going to tuck these wires up in the shell here, and we're going to button this thing up. Make sure everything's up in there. Don't pinch any of your wires, and make sure they are out of the way of any moving parts. And I have this rear coupler that fits in between the frame and the shell in the rear for some reason. Why they did it that way, I'll never know. Wasn't for that, it'd be easy to get this shell on. There we go. Alright, everything's back in there. We do have these 4 screws I'm going to put back in. My screwdriver. As I said before, in each corner, that's where we put a screw. That's what holds the shell on. Pull this over here. Again, I want to thank Brian Volts for sending me this egg crate foam. Really comes in handy. Now if I just had some smaller fingers, it might make it a little even more easy. I can tell by putting this shell on that that speaker is definitely you know, it'll work for now, but I think it's a little bit too big for in this locomotive. I'm going to order a Zemo speaker and replace that speaker in there. The shell's on, but you can definitely tell that speaker really took up a little bit too much area in there. I'm going to put this plow back on just for looks. I think these things look funny without the plow. There we go, guys. Part of the F40PH project is done. The sound decoder is in and it is working. I think I will make another video, a second video or part 2 for the detail parts. So look forward to that, guys. I'll leave you with a maybe a final sound test of this locomotive. We'll check the lights. I might actually make that a separate video too, just for people that don't care to watch the build and they just want to hear the sound in a Walthers Trainline F40PH. Okay, guys, thanks for following along with this, and like I said, look for my next video, or it might not be the very next one, but I will make another video on adding the detail parts on this. But for now, I will leave you with this. Thank you, guys.